Welcome to Gerald Johan van Wa's educational channel. This channel is dedicated to the book Sound in Form. It also exists in 2 volumes, The Development of the Word and The Application of the Word. The first volume is about the theory and the background, how I come to the theory. The second part are the extensions where you can find meaningful letter systems in several scripts in several parts in the world, or in old theories as well. All of these things and much more you can find in the second book. What is the book about? It is about the meaningful letters in our language. There is an existing natural order how we pick out letters, how we make combinations with these letters and form words. Once you find out how this works, you can find out that there is a natural law that we follow, which makes it so that every word that we expressed and that we named and that we used to find directions are actually describing these directions, these words, exactly as they should be. So there is a method that you change these letter combinations into forms, and once you can do that, it also gives you the right associations how to discover what is lying in these expressions of the letter combinations of these words. These videos are demonstrations of this method, and the word that I will express today is the word song. Song has 4 letters. Let's take all these 4 letters and then combine them. We have the S. Very directly we can express it like this. If it's evolving over time, or we see it in a time context, we have it in the second image as a very good example. And if we combine both of the worlds of the direct perception and the perception how it evolves over time, we have something in between in the context of time, like in the third example. The second letter is the O. O could be expressed as the long O in some words, or as a short O or O sound. There are different sounds, but they are more or less expressed. You can find them as associations in more or less the same form, but the context is already different just because of the size also and where you find it. As a large O, what will dominate is the context of the environment. So it is somewhere placed in the environment and you deal with the whole environment. If it's a short O, the smaller O's, then there should be found more an interconnection, and between these interconnections there are processes. So it's a focus upon processes, more or less, on processes. With a double O or a longer O, like in song, it's not just song, it's song. There we have also not just a process within one center, but in a larger area or longer process. It just doesn't stay in just one center focus, as we already know now because of these letters. And the last letter, or the last sound, is ng. And ng is a connecting letter. The connecting letter has also a context, and this context is always that it is connecting different levels or different areas that we know, and now we can combine the letters together. So if I have the S and then ong, I have here already ong, I have here the context, and I will combine them over time. As you can see, there's a process over time, and there it is the connection. If I leave out the background, context is a bit more clear what is being connected, but as always, I have to connect the letters a little bit stronger than in a separate way. So the S or the effect-seeking sequence has to find itself in the M or connection points, so that I will increase the S effect in these parts. So that will mean that it should be sensed, the effects should be sensed in each connection point. What will be then the effect? The S effect is always depending on the reactions, depending on what it gets. So what does this mean? Is that the connection points can be stronger, lower, the levels can be lower, the connection points can vary a little bit, so this makes more variation between the connection points, so that you get this kind of variations. If you now compare it to what we know what the song is, we immediately recognize how we express a song on paper. And now when I look up the word song, and as I usually do, plus symbol, so that it has a very symbolized way of expressing the word, I find a few examples, and this was one of the first examples that came up, and I think this expresses it very well, and it also fits with the letter combinations. But I will take it one step further, because I want to have a universal expression of song, not just in the accidental associations with the English. I will also look for words elsewhere. So what will I do? I will resume this image and put it into one image, so that you can see everything that happens within one frame, not just in a time frame over time, that what is happening over time. No, also within one frame there is a center point where it starts, and there are the variations are coming from there, so that you can really understand it in a universal way in all languages that exist, as long as we express it in the same way. So then of course we have the results, as you see outside, and they hang together. They hang together because they are governed by a system from within, the so there in the middle. So it can go outward, of course, it can go inward, that you can see. Anyhow, everything that happens there, or it can have variations like in the song, but everything hangs together because of the first starting point with the S, the level variations, and the O, the context of the process that I put in it. That's what I understand it, that's how I understand it. Now let's look up other meanings that exist. I already assumed song, that should be a word that exists like in Chinese as well. Of course it does. It sounds almost like too logical to miss. And here it is. This is the Chinese word. So now I look up on the internet. What does it mean? The meaning, according to Wiktionary, is to see someone off, to return, to send, to dispatch, to deliver, to give, to offer, to gift, to lose, to sacrifice. That's what is written on the website. Is this fitting with what I have here? Now you have to analyze it just a little bit more into detail to see what is really happening. I already expressed it, but you could miss something. So let's express it a little bit more detail, a little bit more variation, not much, but to see really what happens there and see if this fits with these meanings. We already said the variations that we have from the center-wise are easily put outside, but in theory they could the levels and the variations could also mean that at the end you have a decrease. It is have a lesser result in the end. So let's connect these results and see if this is all equally possible in all and what it means. So I make the connection points with the and see how they connect. It's very easy with a positive thing. So you start with a so. Okay, I have control. So if I have control, I have the s and the and the o very well together, and I have results outwardly, and it goes very well. If I, however, have a decreased level of things, and I see here, okay, I will have to start from S to O. I can't connect with the least thing so easily. So my focus is going towards the separate parts, because the separate parts are, they are not so controlled. So I look at each thing separately. So what do I have here? I will focus on the outside. It's a different focus on the same thing. So let's see where it will get me. So when it is decreasing, I will focus there and see what happens. The levels of variations, they go towards the outside, and in the end maybe they can even go inwardly again. It can be, so in that way, it can be not just winning something in the process, so that a decrease, there can also be a increase, or losing the energy, losing the flow and so on inwardly, or just more, if it doesn't really matter that you say, okay, you feel it as a sense that you have a decrease, it can be some variations. You can also just simply follow all these variations and let it go. So these are all kinds of possibilities that you have with the word song. You do something with it, and it increases the increases the energy, or it has some variations. You let it go. Just leave it like that. Or you have an increase even, and even then you have to try to focus on the separate part. But okay, in a way you lose it a little bit, the energy. And this actually quite fit well with all the meanings also, the underlying meanings, not just the meaning we had before, but to see someone off. You let it go, let someone go. You send something, you deliver something, you give something, you offer something. But also, like, you let it go. You have a control from inside. It can create certain variations. It's like with a song. You can create it, but anyway, it's good if you have an increase of energy. It's good, but you're not in a complete control. It is something that lives on its own, and it is that's also a result that you can have. The conclusion is, for the song can only dance by the creative intentions you put in its creation. I hope you enjoyed this. This was another demonstration of Sound in Form. The book in its complete form was Sound in Form Volume 1 and 2. It's slightly enlarged with some examples how to work with it in Volume 1 of the Development of the Word, and it's also slightly enlarged in the application of the word with its extended relationships in reality, in scripts, astrology, in the elements, and a comparison with the spectrograms. So you have a lot to read, but the videos, they will add something extra to the book. Everything in the videos, almost everything in the videos, is not in the book, strangely enough. This was Gerald Johan van Was. There's a website too. You can subscribe to this YouTube channel if you like. Thank you very much for discovering this and checking this out. Thanks again. And